It's Friday evening and I just received my new gas bill and it's only $30, so let's shop and see if it's possible to make this money tonight. Today, while I was shopping, I've been thinking about a skill nobody really talks about, the skill of starting over. There was a story I grew up with, a kind of folk tale about a frog what falls into a jug of milk. And the frog keeps struggling, keeps moving, and eventually turns the milk into butter and manages to get out. When I was in my 20s, that story made perfect sense to me. It felt like a simple rule of life. If you keep going, if you don't stop, eventually you get out. But later in life, I started to see it differently. It stopped feeling like a single challenge or overcome. It started to feel like cycles. You get out of one situation and then you find yourself in another. Different circumstances, different places, but the same process again, starting over. And what I've noticed is what starting over didn't always feel this way. There was a time when I could do it and it felt manageable, uncomfortable, yes, but manageable. Now it feels different. Not because I don't know how to do it, but because I've done it so many times. At some point, it stops feeling like a challenge you solve once, and it starts feeling like something you keep returning to. And that's the part what feels heavier. Not started over itself, but the repetition of it. And it's not just external. It's not only moving, changing jobs, or adjusting to new circumstances. A lot of it is internal. It's identity. Who am I in this version of life? Because when you start over, you don't just rebuild your routine. You have to rebuild your place in the world again. You have to understand who you are in a new context. And sometimes that's harder than anything practical. Because logistics can be solved, but identity doesn't update that quickly. And there are moments when it feels like life is already moving forward while you are still trying to understand who is actually living it. And I've also realized something else. Experience does help. You make better decisions, you avoid certain mistakes, you move forward things more efficiently. But emotionally, it doesn't fully remove the weight of starting over. Because knowing you've done it before doesn't always make it easier to do it again. Sometimes it just makes it more real, because you remember what it costs, not just practically, but internally. And it changes how you approach it. Not easier, just more aware. And I keep coming back to a simple question. Is starting over supposed to get easier over time? Or do we just get better at surviving it? And at some point, does resilience stop feeling like stride and start feeling like repetition? I don't really have an answer. It's just something I noticed while going through everyday life. And I guess I'm curious how it feels for other people. Have you ever had to start over more than once in your life? And does it feel like something you adapt to, or something what keeps taking something from you each time? So it's already 8:30 and I think I'm done for today. I was able to get 2 orders and made $28. So if my customers tip, I reach my goal. If not, I'm $2 short. So fingers crossed.